by watching What Does This Girl Know About Science? And let's be honest, not much. But here's what I do know. I'm a third-year dance performance major at Arizona State University, interdisciplinary artist, consumer of various art forms, and overall creative human being. Now you may also be asking yourself, Mia, what do you know about biodiversity loss and the environment? And once again, not much. But I will tell you, I do like living on this planet. Global warming is real, and I have not one but 2 recycling bins on my property. Now, finally, I can answer your question. What are we doing here? And basically, I signed up for a class this semester called Creative Tools for Saving Biodiversity Loss. And basically, we got a bunch of scientists and a bunch of artists, and we get together. Liz Lerman is there, Becca Sterner is there. We have a good time. We discuss biodiversity loss, we discuss art, we discuss creativity, and how we can get you interested in the topic of biodiversity loss. I'm gonna be honest with you, when this class started, it was kind of a struggle. If you don't remember what I said like 30 seconds ago, and let's be honest, not much. So I'm sitting in class one day and Becca's lecturing, and I'm looking at these graphs and I'm like, why is that line blue? And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it, and then I realized like about an hour has gone by and I've just been thinking about this blue line. I have no idea what Becca's talking about. I can't focus in class because I can't get past the fact that there's a blue line. Like, what is my deal? What am I doing? What's going on? I gotta get back in this thing. And then I was like, wait a second, this is interesting. Why am I so intrigued by the color? Why am I so intrigued by the shape? What about the way graphs are structured pique our interest? And that, my friends, is how we got here. Just a weird art girl on a mission to make graphs make sense. Because there has to be a better way. So I had to ask myself, what are my next steps? How do I get other people involved in this conversation? So I called up 4 friends, 2 art-minded people and 2 science-minded people, even though you could probably argue those are one and the same. We looked at graphs, we looked at art, we discussed biodiversity loss, and here is what happened.
And we're live.
I consider myself a dance artist, choreographer, creator.
So this is my paint day.
Oh, fun.
I'm painting at home today.
Software engineer.
Majoring in microbiology and performance and movement.
We're going to show you some images, and I'm going to ask you questions such as like, what do you notice? What do you observe? The questions are vague on purpose and might seem self-explanatory, but just answer them to the best of your ability. Okay, Sam, what do you notice?
Bar graph showing growth over time of various different assets.
Just that the proportion of color changes as every bar goes higher and higher.
All right, I need you to assign a color to each of the items listed.
Mammals, brown, reptiles, green. Thank you, Rachel.
Birds are blue. Insects are black.
A fish, we're just gonna go with a blue-gray.
Beautiful.
And others get neon pink because I need something to pop out from the rest.
I feel like all the birds have like some kind of intent, like goal that they're going after. Like they all look very determined to do something.
The first thing that jumped out was birds, and after that I'm checking out all of the geometry.
I mean, I guess it's just very empowered. Like they're clearly upset about what they're talking about, deforestation.
Oh, so this is the plot from earlier. It's the same set of things. There's no additional data in here. It's just a different way to display existing data that have been shown.
I think I would figure out a way to make it visible to see like size wise. Because I guess what I'm trying to say is like there were like if there's was 10 mammals to start, and then a couple years down the line there's like 100, like seeing the physical number, like there's 10 and there's 100.
The human form with the trees probably speaks to me the most, just because it's suggesting that, we are all made up of the same stuff. And we are the earth. And if we don't take care of the earth, we won't take care of ourselves. So
More importantly, it's a story about Mother Nature and how she's being murdered.
I'm wondering why the last bar in the first graph is darker green.
I feel like from like the passion and excitement of the the song kind of makes me think about like some kind of passionate artwork, and I feel like poems always seem very impactful and passionate.
I would want to make a painting, and I love doing bigger paintings. The more canvas space that I have to work with, the more impact I feel that I can use. I feel like I could do a lot with color and the proportion of color, maybe like shrinking down.
I try to figure out some kind of way to pay tribute to like the tropical like forest aspect of it, because that's what these graphs are about, but I don't think I would make it as apparent as the graphs do.
And so take these existing ones and find ways to make them more appealing to a mainstream audience without sacrificing any of the data's integrity.
Hey, welcome to the park. So after I conducted my interviews, I wanted to put together a thinking grid so I could kind of figure out where my artists and my scientists were finding common ground. Here is that thinking grid that is able to summarize the observations of our interviewees. What this tool showed me was that people can find a stronger connection to an issue if they can relate it back to their lived experience. And this can be done through color association, shapes, and even recognizable patterns. My goal originally was to pull all the information together and create some sort of image or graph that would be the end-all be-all of how we should display data and information. And then I thought about it, and I thought about it some more, and I tested it, and I worked on it, and spent many hours trying to come to the conclusion of what is the end-all be-all for graphs. Turns out there isn't one. When it comes to displaying information in a way that's going to make sense to a lot of people, you can't display that information in just one way because everyone thinks a little bit differently. While I attempted to put together a graph that was going to be the holy grail of sharing information, I wasn't confident in it, and I wasn't sure that everyone was going to fully understand what I was trying to demonstrate. So I decided to ask more people in the community if they could help me out with this project. I took to social media and I asked some friends if they wanted to collaborate, showed them my graph, and got some artwork that was inspired by it. Here is a graph I started about habitat loss, and for my research I really wanted to use the use of imagery, circles, color, and size to represent the issue. While this is a rough draft of the final graph that I was trying to achieve, every color, size of the elements of the graphs, and placement has a specific intention based on what my research has guided me to understand. And this was the graph that was used to inspire the artists to create their art pieces. At the end of the day, I'm still left with a ton of questions. How can you put someone inside of a graph? How can you represent data in a way that's three-dimensional? What's one of the best ways to represent data that's not in a visual format? What I was able to accomplish with this project was to get the conversation started about biodiversity loss. While not every person I talked to about being part of this project was able to submit art by the deadline, I think we were still able to have some really productive conversations about biodiversity loss and different ways to represent the issue. While I didn't succeed with my goal of giving you the answer to what the end-all be-all is to representing data and information, I did think we got one step closer to getting the public involved in this issue in a way that's fun and exciting and engaging. If you're interested in checking out some of the work my friends put together, go ahead and check out the QR code linked below to lead you to a website where you can look at the art and even submit some artwork yourself if you feel inspired by the process.